Well, good evening or good afternoon. Welcome to Chiller Chat. Today we're in the Evans City Cemetery where they actually filmed the Night of the Living Dead back in 1960. Well, he filmed it in 67, right. Came out in 68, 41 years ago. So tonight we have Gary Streiner here. He's actually was part of the production crew on Night of the Living Dead. Welcome.
How are you? Good.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Wonderful to have
Thanks for being on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is where the movie started out, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Johnny and Barbara pulled up in the car here. Mm-hmm. It was turned around. They drove this way instead of coming up because we wanted well, it's actually called a chapel. We wanted the chapel to be in the background, and then it all it all sort of took place within these sort of two plots. I think even that next plot over there, there was more filming even than over here. But in general, well, we were kind of all in and around in different angles, everything.
Now, do you remember what time of the year you filmed that?
Well, we filmed twice. Mm-hmm. The first go around, I believe, was in the fall. You know, not fall, late summer, and into the fall, because I remember we had one of my friends worked on the film who was a ghoul, and he was up one day, and the pollen was so high that his allergies, his eyes actually bled, so he couldn't come back and be couldn't shoot anymore. So. But yeah, so and then we came back because there was a second round of shooting that essentially filled in all the blanks and the holes from the first go around. You know, as George started editing, he found the need to, you know, get additional shots and footage and cover dialogue and have things make sense. So
interesting.
So we were back. Yeah, it was kind of cold, chilly as I remember when we came back the second time.
Because I had heard where the actors kind of had to hold their breath at times so that the condensation of the breath wouldn't be shown up on the camera. So.
You know, that's probably has grown in legend.
Yeah,
it probably wasn't as big a problem for us when it actually happened. But it, you know, it's funny how one little microscopic thing like that will happen once, and then it was like, oh, they're huge problems.
It becomes a story. It's like, well, for the remake, I asked you about this before we started filming this, but I had heard that a tornado came through and unearthed several of the graves and caused some property damage. So Tom Savini wasn't able to use this cemetery here for the remake.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, just as we're up here now today, it's like it always seems like it changes. You know, it always seems like it was different from your memory 42 years ago, but as we're going through these headstones, 90% of the headstones that are here were here when we filmed. You know, you've got a couple, you know, hey, if it's anything, you know, earlier than 67, it was here. But it just, I think again, you know, I mean, some of these trees, these big pines were, you know, 40, 50 feet tall. And I just think they made the, what the difference is right now is it feels much more open. Before there were kind of, you know, these enclosures, like even how you feel underneath there. So it just made it more intimidating. And I think now that those big trees are gone, it kind of takes away a little bit of the mystery. But what are you going to do? That's Mother Nature.
Yeah. Well, when
it is still the original site, and that can't be taken away.
This is it.
And you're bringing it to them.
We're bringing it to our viewers. Evans City Cemetery.
Wait till they see what's next.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, well, when we come back next, we're going to talk too about the Living Dead Fest, and Mr. Streiner here will talk a little bit more about that, and that's coming up in October. So, for now, let's get back to the movie. And welcome back. Here we are on location where they filmed Night of the Living Dead. The site behind us is the approximate area where the farmhouse was in the field. Now I understand that the house was torn down shortly after the movie was filmed.
Yeah, that was one of the great conditions that we got the place on, because you know, we had to do so much tearing up and nailing into, you know, window frames and everything else. It was like a blessing, because they were going to tear it down when we were done. We had to actually dress it up to get it to a level we could shoot in it, you know, because it had been abandoned for a while. But yeah, this is it.
This is the area.
This is where we were.
This is
pretty cool.
It is. 41, 42.
Unfortunately, now it provides probably the area's finest corn. This is the, you know, that's what it's turned into. It was a turf farm for a while, and then it was bought out, and they grow corn on it. But yeah, we're here.
How many zombies did you have on this location at one time?
You know, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, they all came from this direction. This when the sieges happened. I would say probably the most that we had at any one given time. It seems like so many more, but probably only about 20.
About 20.
You know, then we had, that day seemed a lot fuller, because then there were a lot of posse members, and, you know, obviously the Pittsburgh police came in with their dogs, and so that day felt fuller. But I think as far as ghouls, there were probably only about 20.
Wow. Okay. How did you recruit the ghouls?
Not hard.
Not hard. Not around here.
Want to be in a movie?
Yeah.
No, actually, the truth of the matter is that we probably only. This came from Ella Mae Smith, who is the only remaining Evans City ghoul. We only cast 5 ghouls out of the area. We brought everybody else up. There were far more people that were in the posse that were local here. I don't know. We wanted to make sure our ghouls had the right.
Right. Well, okay. Now, your brother played Johnny, correct?
Yes, he did indeed.
Wow. So we're coming to get you, Barbara. They're coming to get you, Barbara. That was actually Mr. Streiner's brother.
He had a short, please, Mr. Streiner. He had a he actually had a short role, but a very poignant one.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Everybody knows Johnny.
Everyone knows Johnny. So this is great. This is really neat being on location.
Yeah, yeah.
Here in
It's
Evans
even.
City.
I mean, you know, I've been back here a half a dozen times probably over the last couple of years, and it's always, you know. Someday I'm talking. I'd like to actually get one of the early survey maps, or one of the early tax maps from this area, which I'm sure right over in Butler County Courthouse.
Yeah.
If we could find out exactly where the house was. And it's always tough to remember 40 years later, but you're what is ever in your view was in the film. That I can guarantee.
Well, you would think that this place would almost be a shrine, but there is a place that we're going to be going to next, Edco Park, interviewing next about the Living Dead Fest. We're going to be talking more about that.
We're going to get to the cell part.
Yeah. We're coming up on it.
We're coming to get you.
You're probably wondering why we're doing this, but we've got a reason. So stay with us. We're going back to the movie, and when we come back, we'll meet you at Edco Park in Evans City. And welcome back to our third segment of Chiller Chat. Now, we are standing in Edco Park here in Evans City.
Edco Park in Evans City. You'd think you were in the middle of Central Park, right? I mean, there's all the space around us.
Spacious Edco Park. So.
Well, that was that was kind of the drill. You know, we had no idea when we started this thing, even last year, how many people we would get to come to it. And the great thing about Edco is it's just a nice big field here. We got the pavilions and the services that we have here, but we can also, if we got 2,000 people, as you can see, we could line them up, and we could probably put 4,000 people in here if we had to.
Now the Living Dead Fest, which is going to be October 30th and 31st, right?
Friday and Saturday, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And you're looking to have some guests here. Tell us about the guests.
Well, we've got, this is a Night of the Living Dead party. We've got probably the biggest draw that we have is Judy Ridley, and Judy played Judy in the film. She was the ingenue that got blown up in the truck.
Right.
And she's
we all remember that.
She's never done a show before. She's never been out in the public. She's never, just by choice, she just didn't interest her. Okay. And so she got to the point in her life where that and a bunch of persuasion from a bunch of people said, you gotta do this, you gotta do it. And so it actually worked out really well for both of us, because it's, you know, she's my ex-sister-in-law, you know.
Oh, okay.
The Streiners had a very integral. We had a very integral part in Night of the Living Dead, that's for sure. But no, so she can come here and feel comfortable. I mean, she's really amongst family, you know, instead of doing another event where Lord only knows what she's going to run into out there. And we have Terry Gandell, who's a ghoul, very prominent ghoul in the film. He was the first ghoul that Ben killed with the tire iron when they tried to make the first
Stuck him in the head.
Terry will be here. He's never done a show before. Dave James, who was the last ghoul to get it in the film before Ben. He's in a white shirt, kind of handsome looking guy. He's going to be here. We just got Reed Cervinsky and Tony Pantanella to be here. They were the special effects guys that did all the gunshots and blew up the truck, and Lord only knows, we got enough room here. We'll probably blow something up if somebody will look the other way. We'll distract the police down the road. I shouldn't say that to the company I'm speaking to. But no, we'll have some fun with that. They have all the original kit that they, you know, did all the bullet holes in people's backs and stuff like that. So those are the kinds of things, even if we have to do them on mannequins, you know, we'll let the fans actually be able to see how they did that in 1968, 67.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be now you're going to actually show the movie Night of the Living Dead here, right?
Yeah,
have a projector and
we go full out, up a 15 by 20 foot screen, which is quite large for this area, and we've got a digital projector, a theater quality digital projector. And then the other big thing we have is Andrew Jones, who has been collecting advertising material for the last 30 years, is going to be here, and his collection is just unbelievable. So to be able to have that here in Evans City is a real coup.
We'll be looking forward to that, and we'll be down here as well on that
come
night.
down and do a little remote something else.
Are people going to be dressed up, I would imagine?
Yeah, I will be. On Saturday night, I'm dressed up.
Zombies here.
Oh yeah, I mean that's. But it's people like it, you know, and some people dress and some people don't. I just I have to, you know.
Oh, you gotta have fun with it. So.
Yeah.
It's Night of the Living Dead.
Let your hair down.
Yeah.
Well, that's the crazy thing about this is that, you know, trying to educate this community. Of course, they know that Night of the Living Dead was made in this area, but they don't necessarily feel any direct impact from it, because nothing has ever happened here. You know, it's never been celebrated here before, and that's what I'm trying to tell Borough Council, and I'm trying to tell the merchants here, you know, work on this, build it up, because in time it is going to get bigger, and
I can certainly see that,
and it's going to be the kind of thing where, you know, people are going to plan their, you know, most of these fans make maybe 1 or 2 trips to a convention each year, and this will just be on their you know, this will be on their list, hopefully top on their list.
I'm sure it will be. Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna have fun. We
We're
don't
gonna have
we
fun,
don't care
and,
what
and
they
I hope,
do.
yeah. But we hope to see a lot of you viewers out
Yes.
there too. So come on down.
You're only like what?
Wow, we're
45 minutes away. 45 minutes to an hour away.
50, 60 miles north of here at tops.
Your backyard.
Where can they find out more information? Don't you have a website?
Yes, we do. www.thelivingdeadfest.com.
Okay.
And there's pretty much all the information you need to know. My email address is on there. Feel free to email me.
Okay. We hope to see you down here, Edco Park in Evans City, October 30th and 31st for the Living Dead Fest. Thank you, Gary, for being part of the show tonight.
Thank you for coming all the way down here and doing it.
Okay, now back to the movie.
How many times do I have to tell you, just because something isn't good doesn't mean it's bad?